for TLE, just like what I have announced on the mathematics, I will just be giving some advice din. No? So this coming Tuesday, so we know already that this coming say tawag ani this coming Monday we don't have any class for the reason that it is holiday in Tagum. So therefore, that's the time no that you have to uh, prepare for your ano, ang tawag dito, sa katong inyo habitang task, if you could remember. So, you have to prepare on that para by pagbalik na to ng Wednesday, makapresent na ta. So, next week, Tuesday, we will be having our examination for TLE. So, that is the third exam. So, whether we finish the discussion of TLE or not, we will still continue. Anyway, the last part man po no, of the third examination, that was letter C. So, ULOC, kamo na bahala aton. Lain po ako pa dyan i-explain sa inyo ha, ang obvious na. And then, our discussion man good for the last part would be more on lesson planning. So, I believe you already know what to do, that I will be requiring everybody to create their own lesson plan. Pero, I'll be giving you time to do that. So, we will just focus on the examination this coming Tuesday, and that will be the third exam of EdTLE2. So I hope everybody understood that one. Okay? So for the mathematics now, so for today, we will go directly with algebra. So sa algebra na siguro taninyo people, no? Kasi akong gusto unta, mag-ano unta ta, ang say tawag ato mag-ano sa tawa mo, agi sa ta dito sa mga circle bitaw. However, I realized nga, if mag-circle pa manggod ta, like for example, identification of tangents, solving seconds, radii, diameter, maalanganin na pud ang ato ang oras, nga nagdali. Wala man sa nagdali, no? Pero gamay na lang ang ato ang time ba. So, ang atong buhaton diri karon is we will just be focusing on the most important things in mathematics. And remember, we are still at the third examination baya. So, medyo layo-layo pag yun no? Kasi after the algebra, we will be doing the speed, time, and then we will do the temperature. Napato yung mga unsa pa to dito So, therefore, we will focus on the third examination na. So, dili na nato to ano ang circle, no? Anyway, ma-learn man to siya ninyo through self-study kay naman siya sa simplaro man po siya. It's very helpful man po. So ato na lang buhaton ani is we will just focus on the things nga mas importante like algebra and then the other things also. So as long as you have the formula, I think you will be good. Kasi it's very important pang to always memorize the formula. Okay, sige, let's go to algebra. Our reference for our algebra is on page 105. Now, we already know that we are more convenient manggod no in solving. Example, 8 plus 9. We also have 3, 2 plus 8. And then we also have 7 plus 2 raised to the power of 5. Usually, we have these cases. So, it's easier for us to solve this one for the reason that we already know how to solve this. However, when we are doing na the algebra, it's lahi na po siya, no? Kasi the terms are different. Like, for example, most of the time, we see in an algebra looking like this. 4a raised to the power of 5. In which, unsa man ni siya? Sige daw. What's the name of this one? Kanang letter A. Siya ang say tawag anak niya. Siya si laka. Siya si literal coefficient. So, ang tawag sa iya is the literal coefficient. Literal in the sense nga letters man na. And then, you have here now the numerical coefficient. Numerical coefficient. And then you have the exponent. So, we already know that this is algebra once you see letters, combination of letters, and then meron kang exponent, tapos napadjug kay number. The typical example of 4a and 5, this is only one term. This is called as monomial. We have monomial. So this is monomial. Monomial in the sense that you only have one term only. Wala ka na plus minus. Isa lang yun siya kabuok. So if it is one term, that is called as monomial. So next, we have the what we call as the binomial. Si binomial, lahi ko dang iyahang trip, no? Kasi, syempre, binomial gani. So you expect that you have two terms here. For example, you have 4a plus 3b. So in short, your first term is the 4a, your second term is the 3b. So you have 1 and 2. So that makes it binomial. Next. Another one, we have the trinomial. So trinomial, tulo ka buok, syempre, alangan. So it's a combination of 3. We have 5x squared minus 4x plus 3. So, for example, we have here our first term, the second term, and the third term. So, we have 1, 2, and 3. So, therefore, that is trinomial. So, kana siya. And lastly, we have the polynomial. For polynomial, example of polynomials, we have 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus x plus 1. So, this is a polynomial in the sense that we are already looking at four terms already. Kasi si trinomial, tulo raman na kabuok. So, for polynomial, you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, 1, 2, 3, and 4, that is polynomial. So, anaon ra siya pag-identify. It's easy. It's very, very easy. Okay. So the degree of each term of a polynomial in x is the exponent of x in the term. Now, take note. If you see, di ba, we have already discussed this one. We have already here 4a and 5, di ba? So we have here the numerical coefficient and we also have the literal coefficient and the exponent. Take note. If you see something like this, for example, especially in multiplication, I am talking about multiplication and division, ha. You have a letter x. X here is an indication that there is, sige daw be, okay, let me just ask you, what is the value of x here? Does x contain an exponent and a numerical coefficient if it is in multiplication? Naa ba siya? Wala. Naa, wala. May exponent at literal may exponent and numerical coefficient siya o wala? Sige daw. Si x. What if kung multiplication in the name of multiplication? What if multiplication ni siya tapos may nakita ka na x? Si x ba, meron ba yan siyang exponent and numerical coefficient or wala? Wala, uy. Sige daw, what do you think? Sige. So, if this is in multiplication, this is actually sabotable good na siya, no? That it is already given na pag multiplication ni siya, automatic that our literal coefficient would have an exponent of 1 and of course, the numerical coefficient of number 1. So, in short, nahimo siya nga 1x raised to the power of 1. So, that is already an indication that this is x. So, yun yung mga indication na it is not only applicable for letter x alone, but it is also applicable to all literal coefficient if we are talking about multiplication. Okay? Sige. Let's move on. Okay, sige. For example, let's have a term or let's have this one. You have 3x5 minus 2x4 minus 5x plus 7. Okay. So, as you have observed, Kani diri ano, this is solving in addition and subtraction. However, this is an indication that this algebra is arranged accordingly. Arranged in the sense that we are also looking at our exponents. We have 5. Si 5 na to dire, this is 5, 4, and then you also have 1 and 0. Diba? So this is an example of a typical arrangement when it comes to exponent. So when you are answering algebra, you have to make sure that the degree of the arrangement of the algebra should be from the biggest one to the lowest one. So for example, lain pod no, atong ipauna diri let's say we have 2x4 minus 3x5 plus 7 plus 5x. So, in this case, no, medyo kingkoy. Dili gini siya mao ang arrangement sa imong answer. So, you have to arrange this correctly into this into like this. Kani siya. Kasi we are looking at our exponents. Mura siya 5, 4, 5, 4, 1, and 0. So, dili siya pwede nga mauna si 7, di po siya pwede mauna si 5x because we are looking at one exponent here in the literal coefficient containing the exponent of 5. And that's one of the reasons why we always take a look at the arrangement of our algebra. So, kanino gipakita lang ni siya diriya so that when we are answering soon, makabalota unsaon na to siya pag last star. Okay, sige. I think that's just so easy to understand. Let's go on with the symbols of grouping. When you talk about grouping, kana si grouping manggono, that is usable when we are doing the operation of addition, subtraction, multiplication, or even division. So we have different types of grouping. We have this what we call as the parenthesis. Ang tawag ani is parenthesis. And then we also have this one. This is a bracket. And this is a brace. Brackets de kasi duha ka buok. Kani kay basta parenthesis, we have the brackets and we have also the braces. So all of these kana siya nga mga symbols are used when we are trying to group terms, whether that is a polynomial, monomial, trinomial, or binomial. So it depends. Sometimes, no, we have to be very careful whenever we try to remove these groupings because there are cases, manggod, no, that we can remove the groupings. And there are also cases that we cannot remove the groupings. For example, let's try, we have here example letter A. Aroy, sabari. Example letter A. We have parentheses 9A minus 4B plus 7 parenthesis. Tapos we have plus 72. Okay. So for us to be able to eliminate the parenthesis, you can just simply remove this one. Why? Kasi the equation itself, especially in this place, is an indication that we will be adding the algebra. We are not multiplying here. Di ba, we are very careful when we are solving kasi the parentheses manggod, the parentheses, the brackets, the braces are indication that we are doing multiplication, especially if you see the parentheses. Kaya nga, careful talaga ta. Kaya nga tong tanawon ha, if sa parenthesis ba may nauna or naulahi nga mga operation. But in this case, no, na kay operation diri. So for us to be able to remove the parenthesis and simply solve nga peaceful ang atong pag-solve, you can just simply remove. So our answer here will become, this will be 9A minus 4B plus 7 plus 72. So, of course, no, kani siya kay, masolve na siya. So, this will be 9A minus 4B plus 72, 77, 78, 79. And this is your answer. So that is how you remove the parentheses. Another example. Letter B, we have what if. Okay, what if, ma'am, may nauna na negative, tapos you have here 7x, and then you have 3y. Okay, what are we going to do now? I think you have observed this already when we did the Pythagorean theorem, di ba? I have done something there that I have multiplied both sides with the negative for us to be able to remove the negative sign on the left side. So it's just the same thing. You're just going to multiply the negative or distribute the negative to all terms. For example, you distribute this one to 7x and you distribute this one here to 3y. Okay, so this will give you now the answer of, okay, so negative times positive, that will be negative 7x. Tapos negative times positive 3y, that will become negative 3y. So in short, this is the answer. So ana lang siya. You just distribute. And lastly, we have another example. We have minus 9m plus 3n minus 2. Ana. You distribute. Okay, this will become negative 9m. Okay. You also have negative 3n. And then we have positive 2. Positive 2 in the sense that negative times negative is positive. So that's negative 9m minus 3n plus 2. So this is in the grouping. Okay, another one. Let's try this. Let's have a fixed example. Madungog pa ba ko? Am I clear?
Yes,
Yes.
Oh, sige. Follow lang ha. Sige, let's go to another example. We have 5a squared minus 2. And then we have here a bracket. 4 minus 3 minus 2a kana, and then we have a bracket. So of course no, ayha kamo gawas unaha sa ang sulod. Kasi kung mag-una ka sa gawas manggod, kung mag-una ka diri sa gawas, maglisod ka sa mut og answer sa sulod. We have this what we call as principle in algebra manggod no nga inner to outer. So, inner to outer. We simplify first the inner terms or the inner problems. We try to solve them before going to the outside kasi we are trying to eliminate nga the brackets, the braces, the parentheses. So, in this case, now we start with the parentheses first because that is the inner portion. So, let's try to remove the parentheses here. So, how are we going to remove that one? So, since we have said already, no, nga kailangan atong tan-awon kung multiplication ba ni siya or dili. And we could say nga dili siya multiplication kasi you have here an operation which is minus. So, wala lang. You just remove this. Simple. So, remove natin siya. Okay, let's just copy ha. I-systematic na to ang atoang pag-solve. Okay. So, remove natin. We have 4 minus 3 minus 2a. Okay, kana. As simple as that. Since you have already here 4 minus 3, so this will become 1 minus 2a. Ana lang. And then you have 5a squared minus 2. Okay, you have here an indication that you have no operation somewhere located here if it is either plus or minus. So therefore, automatic this is multiplication. So, we cannot distribute 5a squared. to the other. We cannot distribute 5a to the inside because wa na siya ilabot dira. The only nearest term is number 2 lamang. So, siya lang ang imong i-distribute. Ana lang. Kasi wala man sila naka-enclose og ana. Kung naka-enclose pa nag-ana, kana sila tanan, ipang-distribute na nato. Ana. Pero wala man sila naka-enclose, kana naman iyang nearest. So, siya ang imong i-distribute. So, as simple as that. Let's try 5a squared. Negative 2 times 1, that is negative 2. And then, you have negative 2. Negative 2. Grabe. Okay, negative 2 times negative 2a, that is positive 4a. And this is now your final answer. Okay. Tama ba? Am I right? Tama ba? Sige daw. Negative 2 times negative 2, that is positive 4a. Ang naa sa libro, mali ang sign. So, this is an indication that we have to be very careful. Kasi bisag unsaon na kung tan-aw dito sa ibabaw o wala yun. Natingala dyan ko. Negative 2, tapos negative plus positive, that is negative 4a. Okay. So, negative 4a. Okay. So, yan. So, ana ra siya. Sige. So, this is now your final answer. Kana. So, very easy. Okay. Let's try another example. We have here 7 plus 3m minus 6 plus 2m squared. Ayan. Sige, kana ha? Alright. So, for us to be able to eliminate the parentheses, you take a look at these sides. You have already here a plus sign. So, therefore, copy ka na lang. Remove na tanan. So, you have 7 plus 3m minus 6 plus 2m squared. Now, you try to transpose. I-transfer ni si 2m, no? Kasi nga, we are looking at the exponent. So, i-transfer na siya ni mo diha. 2m squared plus 3m. Combine like terms man ang tawag ani, no? And then, you also have negative 6 plus 7. Then, you try to solve. That is 2m squared plus 3m. And then, you have positive 1. So, this is now your answer. So, ana ra siya. 2m squared plus 3m plus 1. So, this is your final answer. Remember, also people, no, nga once what we always do, manggod, no, is we always do combine like terms. When we combine like terms, that only means to say that we can solve them. But if they are not like or they are unlike terms, we cannot solve them if it is in addition and subtraction. So, like for example, we cannot add 2m squared and 3m because they are unlike terms. Unlike terms in the sense that m has a squared and m here doesn't have any square at all. So, therefore, they are unlike and we cannot solve them or we cannot add them for the reason na unlike nga sila. And also to note nga that is addition. Pwera na lang if this is if this is multiplication. Kaya pwede na to na siya buhaton. Later on, we'll do that one. Okay. So, of course, no, it doesn't also, the algebra also doesn't give you the limitation when it comes to solving. Because there might be cases also that you can also substitute a number. For example, substituting a number, no, you have here an equation of 2x cubed plus 4x squared minus x plus 1. Tapos, in the problem, you have where x equals 2. So, simple lang. You just substitute ka na lang. Ayan. Substitute mo yan si 2, no? So, lahat ng x, 2 na siya. Okay, sige. So, we have 2 This will become 2 and 3 plus 4. 2 and 2 minus 2 plus 1. Okay, sige. And then you solve. 2 raised to the power of 2. This is 8 man siguro, no? This is 8. So this will become 8 plus 4. 2 times 2, this will also be 4 minus 2 plus 1. So you solve. This is 16 plus 16 minus 2 plus 1. 16 plus 16 is how much? Pila man na siyang 16 plus 16? Oy, tabang, mga inil lang. Pila na? 16? Ha? 32 ba?
32, ma'am.
Okay. 32 minus 2 plus 1. Okay, this is already 32 minus 2 is 30 plus 1 equals 31. You have already the
32,
answer.
ma'am.
So, ana na siya, no? The same
32.
case also with the others. So, 32 minus 2 plus 1, answer nimo is 31. This is if the case is substitution. So, pwede kay na siya. The opportunities are endless. Daghan kay kaong mabuhat pa jud. Another example, using substitution. Uy, ginawa ko na sa nabulol naman ta. Okay, we have 4AB, ABC, minus 3A squared, B cubed, C squared. Where A equals 1, B negative 1, okay, so imo ra siyang i-substitute. 4, 1, negative 1, and then 2. May
Ay, so siya nag-iisa dito eh. Wala, sinulabli ko eh.
minus. Kailangan man jud, sir. That's sir, Elmer na buyag. Sige. Okay. Minus 3A. Ano sa to? Nawaha rin ko sa pasida. Okay ka na. And then, you have B. Si B is negative 1 and 3. Tapos, 2 and 2. Okay. So, simple as that. Tapos, you just multiply. Ano na yun? Pila man eh. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Okay. And then you have negative 3 times 1 raised to the power of, wala man eh. This will become still 1, no? 1 man gihapon eh. 1 raised to the power of 1 times 1 is 1. And then this will also be negative 1 man eh. Pila man eh. Supposedly. This will be 1. The same ra gihapon. And then you have 4. Okay. Kasi ang over 1 ng gihapon dun no, nahimo gihapon ning 1 ra gihapon na siya. Mora gihapon ang pataya. Remember the reciprocal? 'Di ba the reciprocal of 1 and 1 is 1 more gihapon. So it's 1, the same ra gihapon. So negative 8 and then we have na missing. Asa naman tong 3? Okay. 3 times 1, 3 gihapon, 4, 8, 12. So that is positive 12 and negative 8. Tapos, you solve, giving you the answer of 4. So, you always remember, kani bitao, ayaw mo ka ratol ng negative 1 raised to the power of 3. Kasi, kana siya, tanaw ra gud negative 1 pa jud. Okay ra ta tong mga number nga mga 2, 3, 4, 5. So, kato, ma-worry gud mo ato. Kay, tagaan gud mo 2 over 1 or ay 1 over 2, 1 over 3, 1 over 4. Katong ko naka-remember mo atong discussion bitaw nato nga regarding sa negative mga di man ni negative exponent din no, pero it's just the same no, kasi lisod pod Pero kani basag mga 1 gani wa kaya tay problema ana kasi negative 1 lang man siya. So it's okay for us to solve that. So that's 4. So our answer is 4. So ana lang. Sige, let's try to solve simplifying algebraic expression by addition and subtraction. Okay, this will be a complicated case.
What a very successful day.
Sige, sulat sa ko.
Dili ka na pilak ka. Uy, buhay.
Napasok ako dito.
Ano sa inyo? Kayo din mo mandakaw, di ba?
Sa ligaw.
Oo. Sabay man mo na. Aw.
Ano na sila yung
Aw. So, nasa yung biyahe niya?
siya pa man. Sir na sa
Sige, kani. So kani dali ra man naton ni siya ma-eliminate no kasi naa naman ta sa tunga diri ang operation which is subtraction. So therefore dili ni siya multiplication. Pero kung nawala pa lang ni siya, kung wala na siya, so this is already an indication na multiplication siya. Pero naaman tay minus diha, so therefore it's easy. You just eliminate. So 7x squared plus 3xy minus 5y squared minus 4x squared plus 5xy minus 2y squared. And then, you combine like terms. Combine like terms. You start with 7x squared. Sunod, minus 4x squared. And then, next is plus 3xy. And then, we have plus 5xy and minus 5y squared tapos minus 2y squared. Okay. And then you solve. Sige. Naputol ko. Kadali daw, hindi. Mandungog ko.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ningkalit lang kawala among internet. You lost your network connection trying to reconnect ko, no? Sige, padayon ta sa tong live. Kaya I don't want to waste my 30 minutes in live, gyud. Nibalik na akong internet sa akong laptop. Sunga-sungang, gyud. Ambot na lang, gyud. So, what tay mahimo. Di na po ko kadala sa akong modem kay gipotol ang globe. Ginoo ko. Dahil sa fiber. Sige, dili naman tadapita. We have 3xy plus 5xy. This will be 8xy. Ako na lang mag-isa diri. Wala na ang samukan nga si Sir Elmer. Sige. Alright. We have negative 5y squared, negative 5 minus 2. Pila man eh? This will be? Kaya answer ani? Negative? Negative ano? Negative?
Negative 7 po.
Negative 7 ba? Are we sure?
3.
Negative 3. Okay. Negative 3y squared. Kana. Ayan, balik na naman kayo. Balik na po mo atong negative times minus negative, minus positive, mga ana. Okay, so this would be our final answer. That is 3x cubed. Yo, good na. Uy, 3x squared plus 8xy minus 3y squared. Ana siya. Kana na. This is actually the answer. Muna na siya iyahang ano dira 3y squared. Okay, sige. If you have observed also, no, natingala pod ko, ngano nga ang atong mga answer is not the same with the answer based on, wait lang ha, based on the answer on the module. Kaya nga ako nagatanaw po ko sa atong module, kaya ako siyang gina-clarify. So you try to observe ha, if nabatay mga mali, especially on the sign. Let me just check. Okay. Kaya natingala kung ano man nga iyahang answer is 3x squared. Okay. Kaya pala. Okay, sige ha. Kay nausab, iyan din giusab. Okay. 3x cubed plus 3xy minus 5y minus 5y squared minus 4x squared plus 5xy minus... Okay, sige. And then, sige daw, you try to bet. Subaya daw ninyo guys daw, if nabatay mga kamalian. Pero wala man, tama man na tong solve. Nara, plus 3xy. Then, plus 5xy. Minus 5y squared. And then, negative. Okay. Tama man. So, in short, tama atong answer. Ang sim ang murag na is something wrong. Okay. Muna nga, ayaw kayo mo pagsaligpod sa sim, you also solve yourself. Solve yourself? Solve on yourself. Sige. Okay, so this is just a plain example on solving using addition and subtraction, ha? So, it's a combination. Usually, we cannot really go with something manggid, no? So, dali manggid kayo sa dya. Okay, let's try another one daw, okay? 7AB yun, tagak na kong bag. Plus 6A plus 8B squared plus 27. Okay, kana. Sayo na sad na, no? We just try to eliminate na parentheses by simply removing because we already have an indication that this is addition. It's not multiplication. So, ito na siya isolve. And then, the 7AB plus 6A plus 8B squared plus 27. Combine like terms. 7AB. And then, you have 8B squared plus 6A plus 27. At dahil dyan, wala ka nang masolve, mauna na imong answer. So, ana lang siya ka-simple for addition and subtraction. Ang anto lang yung bantayan, ang careful lang yun nato nga pag-combine sa mga like terms, ang atong mga positive ug negative, hinana no, mura na atong mga bantayanan. The rest, actually, okay raman. Most of the time, ang nagka-problema raman yun ta ani no, diri ra gyud sa kanang mga sign ta magka-problema. Mostly. Diha gyud ta magka-problema. Ala. So, most of the time, mao na ang mga problema when it comes to solving algebra. Ay, okay, let's go to multiplying monomials. So, since we are talking about monomials, isa lang siya. Okay, so say for example, we have examples here of multiplying monomials, no? Multiplying monomials. Okay, graph. So, let's say we have 6x and then 3x. For example, in this case, note you are going to distribute 6x to the inside because this is multiplication. So in the same way, if we are going to interpret this one, this will become 6 times 3. And then you also have x times x. Now, since we are talking about multiplication here, we are assuming, just like what I have said earlier, we are assuming x alone is not alone. X here is an imaginary exponent of 1, even if wala exponent diha. And X also has imaginary y here as its numerical coefficient. So that's the reason if we are going to answer this one, this will become the answer actually here is 6, 12, 18, this will be 18x squared. Basig mangutanan mo, ma'am, ano pangita gikahoy ning square diri gikahoy na siya diri kasi if we are doing multiplication baya, you just have to add the exponents. Unlike on addition and subtraction nga pag different ang ilang terms, different ang ilang literal coefficient as well as the exponents, you cannot solve them. You cannot add or whatever. You just let it be. Kasi di na to sila dili na to sila mahilabtan unless kung pareha sila. But if it is in multiplication, YL, you just simply multiply and then after multiplying, you just add the exponents. And that's the reason we have our answer which is 18x cubed. Oh, x cubed, x squared. Cube, jud ako ma-mention. Okay, whatever. Sige. So, ano siya, no? Let's go to letter B. Sige ha, sample letter B. We have 3x and then you have 17y. Okay, nalisang na kasi dalawa na nga mga we have two unlike terms here. We have 3x and then 17y. Well, anyway, no, these are multiplications between two monomial. This is the first monomial and this is the second monomial. Sige, let's distribute them. 3x times 17y. This is in interpretation, this will become 3 times 17 and then you have x times y. Question, ma'am, can we yes and combine? Okay. So, pwede nato na siya mag-combine, dili sila mag-away, kaya dili lagi ni sila addition o subtraction. This is multiplication. So, friendly ang multiplication when it comes to literal coefficients and the exponents. So, since we have 17 times 3, and then you have here the little coefficients, the x and y, you just multiply. And that will give you the answer of 51x y. It's a combination already. I hope that's clear. Okay, another example. Let's go to letter C. Letter C, 4x squared times 7xy. Okay. Distribute them on the inside. Okay, we have here 4 times 7 and then you have x squared times xy. Okay, what do you think is the answer here? Malamang 28 naman jud ni. Oh, sige, what's the answer here?
28x cubed and y po, ma'am.
X cube y. Okay. Kanina ang x cube y karon man ni gikahoy ni cube, ma'am, kaning number 3 diri ni siya gikahoy okay. One x tapos x. So you just add. We have 2 and we also have 1 here. So 2 plus 1 that is 3. So that's x cube. And then you have 1 y here. So wala na siya iyang kapares diha So wala, butang na dira kopya. So ni y. So 28x cube y. Naugan ako. Sige, ito na yung humanon. Letter D. What if we are going to distribute now the negative? Okay. For example, you have negative 4mn and then you have 3mn squared. Okay. So you have here distributing the negative. So i-distribute sa si negative diha so with negative 4 and 3. Tapos here na naman we have mn times mn squared. O sige, what is the answer? Negative, unsa? This is, unsa yung answer ani?
Negative 12, ma'am.
Negative 12, unya, unsa pa?
M squared.
MN.
Negative 12
M squared.
m squared
N cube.
n
Cube,
cube.
ma'am.
Okay, good. Kasi natay 1 dira. So, m 1 plus 1, hala 2. And then n, 1 plus 2, hala 3. Okay, ana ra ka simple. Another case. We have letter E. We have 5A. And then we have 6B minus 3C. So, we have here 3 unlike terms. We have 3 monomials. O ano, a monomial multiplied to a binomial. So, ano siya, no? So, the first that you have to do is to distribute. Siyempre, you distribute 5A here, and then you distribute 5A there. So, ayaw kalimti ang mag-distribute. Okay. So, what would be this? We have here, kung ato ning solvon, no, we have 3. So, 5A times 5 times 6, this would be 30. And then, you have here, wala naman siya, 30, AB. And then, distribute si 5A sa 3C. We have positive 5 multiplied to negative 3. This will be minus 15 AC. So, ara. So, the answer is this. 30 AB minus 15 AC. Wala na kay mga lain na na-observe diha kasi wala naman po wala man kay maad, wala man po kay kuyog, kay parehas man silang lahi-lahi. So, wala jud kay ma-expect diri nga na ay mag-cube, mag-squared, wala kay pare-pare, lahi-lahi man gud sila. Lastly, we have this one, letter F. 5x squared and then 4xy minus 5x y squared plus 11. Okay. So, simple. You just distribute. Okay. Kana. 5 times 4, that is 20 x cube y. Next, kana. We have x cube y squared. Tapos diha na punta, that is 55 plus 55 x squared. Okay, so, now we have 20 x cube y. Okay. Is this already correct? Tama na ba ni? I guess mo na nino? Wala na? Wala na. Yan na siya. So, this is already your answer. You cannot simplify it anymore. You cannot solve it anymore. Although, meron ka pang others dyan. Pero, you remember na hindi na siya multiplication kasi you already have subtraction here. Alangan naman mag-subtract ka. Tapos, you have unlike terms. So, therefore, dili na siya nimo pwede na ma-subtract or ma-add. Kasi nga, nakaginani na siya. So, therefore, this is already the final answer. Okay. So, diha lang sa siguro tataman. Oy. So, by tomorrow, I will be sending I'll try my best to send a practice test for you to practice yourself in answering algebras like this. So, we will just stop in multiplication sa, no? Kasi, lahi naman po itong focus ang division. Medyo complicated naman po ang division. So, we will just we will just, ang tawag dito, hinay-hinay lang ta. Diri lang sa siguro ta. So, by the next meeting on Wednesday, next week Wednesday, we will do now the division. Tapos, let's just see if what will be the other things that we are going to do. Probably, we will just focus on this or basta, magunahuna sa kung unsaon na to na siya nga maapas na to itong third exam kasi we are far from the coverage talaga. So, I don't know what would happen. Kung asar buta tama dito ra punta lang ang pugso na to tanan di na ta magpakahiro muragitag mga bright eye. So nga to lisod-lisoron na tong life ya lang sa siguro ta. So, do we have any question?